Hello. This session is going to cover visual aids, just a few basic things you want to keep in mind when creating visuals for your presentation. So some of the stuff we're going to cover today is about the development of these visual aids and then the proper techniques for displaying these visual aids while speaking. There are some rules you want to follow even when giving your presentation as to how you want to interact with your visual aids and how you want to display them. So something to remember about visual aids is that they can help you a little bit with anxiety as well too. Speakers usually report that they feel like the audience is looking at their visual aid and not just them, so it gives them a little bit of a distractor. It also helps you to appear more credible and more confident because you've put something together in advance for your audience, which they tend to appreciate. So one of the types of visual aids is handouts, and a lot of students ask me about the rules for handouts, and I'll tell you what audiences tend to respond best to. They like things to be limited to one page. Only the most important information should go on a handout. Only what is really necessary to go on a handout, not just anything you can kind of throw on there. You want to use color if at all possible. If you can't use color ink, then use a colored sheet of paper. We get inundated with black and white paper all of our lives, or white paper with black ink at least. And so that color tends to stand out, and we tend to notice the color. We tend to actually think that whatever we've gotten on color or in color ink is actually more important sometimes than something we see on white paper with black ink. It should, again, be limited to one page, so use one side of that page. And also decide if the audience needs this before your speech to kind of follow along. Maybe you have sort of a worksheet set up so that they can answer some questions while you are speaking, and those are actually on your handout. If that's the case, then they should get it before you speak. If it's more something they need after you speak, for instance, maybe a recipe or instructions on accessing a new program, that sort of thing, then hand it out after your speech, because studies have shown that handouts can actually be distracting and take the audience's attention away from you as a speaker. So decide that early on, and that will determine what kind of handout you're going to make. Another type of visual aid is posters. These need to be large enough so that the entire audience can see them at one single time. That can be kind of tricky and complicated in most of the classrooms that I'm teaching in currently. However, if you really are somebody who wants to do a poster, they're totally doable. You can find some clear, sophisticated images, sometimes online. You might want to have those printed in a certain way so that you can cut them out and then paste them onto your poster. You can do stencils. If you're a good artist, you may draw on there, but you want to be able to explain what's on there and make it really look sophisticated as well too. You can include charts and graphs on there. One of the persuasive speech criteria is going to be to actually create a chart or graph on the information you found. So this is still possible with posters and charts. They can also be a really creative expression for somebody who maybe is more artistic than someone else and wants to do something kind of creative, especially maybe you have chosen a very creative topic, maybe about an artist themselves, and you want to show a couple of their works. This would be an easy way to do that. Digital format is still able to do that as well too. So one digital format is PowerPoint, and this of course tends to be the most popular way to accompany a speech. It was actually invented for that, so it makes sense. One rule you really want to follow with PowerPoint is that less is more. I tell my students all the time, you only need to know about 10 to 20% of PowerPoint to create an effective speech visual aid. Use the 7x7 rule. What this means is that you either want less than 7 words per page or no more than 7 line items or bulleted items on one slide. That can then be a lot of words as well too. So what I like to do is tell students to use it as labels, use very small text boxes, and then anything that just can't be explained in a very short time. So say you've got 2 images up there, they're both of houses, and you want to quickly label that this is the house the person that you're speaking of was born in, and this was the house that maybe they bought with their first family. You might need to do that. But most of the time you can get by with simply showing visuals that are explained by you, the speaker. Avoid slide transitions and features like sounds because they really are distracting. They will unnerve you even as the speaker, and they really tend to unnerve the audience, especially if they are repetitive. The first time we hear that little bell ring, it's cute. The other times we hear it, it's not cute anymore. Also, you want to keep your text fairly large. Text at 28-point font or higher is going to be best for your audiences, because once that image is displayed, it actually loses some resolution and loses some clarity, and so you want it large enough so that your audience can see it very clearly. If they have to struggle to see your visual aid, I promise they're going to tune you out, and then you're not going to accomplish your speech goal. Avoid clip art and cartoonish images. Audiences like things to be sophisticated, and so you want to find good images. A great place to find those is, of course, Google Images. Go to Google Images, type in whatever item you might be looking for, whether it's tangible or even theoretical. Type in happiness or justice and see the kinds of items that you get back. You'll find things that will represent those items. I'll also try to embed the video clips, or you actually have to embed the video clips before you link them into your PowerPoint if you want to show them that way. If it's already online, a video that's online, I would suggest just using the hyperlink so that you can simply click on it and you can then be directed to that site. I'll demonstrate that in a second. So Prezi is another form of digital media, or a way that we can show images digitally. And so it's a little more visual than PowerPoint. Some of you may have been exposed to Prezi before. Don't be nervous about it. Try it out. Give it a chance. It's actually something that I think you might enjoy. So let me just click on this and show you first how to get to the student pricing for this, because when you first go to this website, you may be a little confused and thinking this is a really expensive piece of software. So when you go into Prezi, you can search for Prezi or click on that. I'm going to click on sign up, and you'll see this is regular pricing for everyone else. Scroll down and click on educational licenses. You may not think that you're qualified for that, but you are. So here's the EduEnjoy, and you get the creation, collaboration, and presentation online. You get to manage your privacy and sharing, and you can replace the Prezi logo with your own, which is nice. That's all free with 500 megabytes of cloud storage. So if you click continue there, it's going to then sign you up and verify. You need to use your AACC EDU address. So make sure that you're using your student email when you sign up for this. Walk through the thing and then you'll be able to log in. The nice thing about Prezi is that all your presentations are stored online. So there's no way to lose it. You don't have to carry your flash drive around with you, or email yourself, or put it on Google Docs even, which I love, you know that. But you can actually just log into Prezi from any computer. The one trick with this, one caveat with anything that's stored online, of course, is make sure that you write down your username and your password. Make sure that is something you remember, and if you need to text it to yourself, I know that sounds crazy, but you can actually text your own number, and then that way you have it on your phone, you can bring that up. Another item might be to save it on your notepad on your phone so that you have that. But make sure you record what your username and password is once you sign up, and you'll be able to use this for a presentation tool as well. So in summary, you want to develop interesting visual aids. It's something that you create uniquely for your audience and uniquely for that speech. Use the data you found, but then you create it yourself and be creative. Limit text because you don't want it to eclipse what you're saying in your speech. You want to really be able to talk to your audience and show visuals that go along with that. And then be creative and resourceful. You've got a lot of good tools right at your fingertips with the internet, of course, and with AACC's tools that they've provided for you too. So take advantage of those resources. This is the time you'll need